Alright guys, had a pretty easy training day today. Decided to just work my neck a little bit. I've been getting back into wrestling, and I noticed my neck is not as strong as it used to be when I was really doing martial arts frequently back in the day, like Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, Taekwondo, that kind of thing. So I'm getting back into some basic neck training. This is my warm up starting off, just hanging the head off of bed. Real simple, full ROM neck flexion. Okay, now if you want to follow along or try this, I would just say if you're a beginner, maybe don't go as quickly as I am. Maybe like take your time with these. They might be more difficult than I make them look. Okay, I kind of blow through this first 8 minutes or so pretty quickly with practically no rest between exercises other than just changing position. I did 20 reps there. I'm doing 20 reps of all of these, by the way, though I probably miscounted a few times. That was full ROM flexion. This is full ROM extension, okay? And in all these exercises, I'm trying to stretch my trapezius muscle by having my shoulders packed down away from my ears. Okay, so the opposite of shrugging my shoulders. Okay, I want to pack them down, really get the traps not so involved. Okay, I want my cervical extensor muscles doing the work, not so much my trapezius muscles. Okay, so I'm kind of bracing my arms, packing my shoulders into the frame of the bed there on that one. That was extension, full ROM. Here is a lateral kind of range of motion here. Again, reaching that hand toward my feet to stretch the traps out as I'm doing this. My range of motion is not great with this one. I probably just got really, tight lateral neck muscles and traps and stuff, but I am trying to get the fullest ROM I can. Okay. And again, I'm kind of blowing through this quickly, going at a fast cadence. If you're new to this, or if you have any, neck issues, go a bit slower. Maybe even take some rest between these different exercises. But I'm going pretty quickly here because this is all very easy to me. It's kind of like the warm up for the really hard stuff I'm going to show later on, or at least the harder stuff. Obviously, got to do the opposite side the same way. Again, 20 reps. I might hold a little bit longer in the last rep at the top and at the bottom to get a little bit more of a contraction and also a stretch. Okay, you can always play around with the cadence of this. You can go slower. You can have longer pauses at the top, at the bottom, in the middle, whatever you want to do, feel it out. Have fun with it, gain some proprioception, some freaking mind muscle connection with those neck muscles. Okay, now we're going back to extension this time, working with deep neck flexion. Okay, so I'm still kind of getting into neck extension here, but it's a little more flat. It's hard to tell with my hair and all in the way. The spine is a little more flat this time because I'm packing my chin into my neck. Okay, this is working the front of the neck and the back of the neck. And again, I'm kind of bracing my freaking arms and shoulders against the frame to stretch the freaking trapezius muscles and make sure I'm not really using those so much. Because again, I want to work those cervical spine extensor muscles. Okay, now we're going to turn it around again and do something a little different. Now that may be enough for most people. Maybe those few exercises are plenty. I'm going to do a little bit more here. Hanging off the bed this time again, going into like that deep neck flexion position. And just stopping there, stopping at that neutral kind of flat back, flat cervical spine position. Okay, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here a little better with putting the chin into the neck, packing the chin in to the neck. That's deep neck flexion, very important if you want to build a nice, strong posture. Okay, so many of us are freaking walking around these days with the so-called nerd neck, the freaking mobile phone neck, always looking down all the time. Freaking neck gets weak, you gotta freaking change that. Especially if you're doing any kind of contact sports like I'm trying to do lately. Here's another one, back to the other side, working on extension again, but this time turn in the head. Okay, so isometrically working those extensor muscles. At the same time, I'm packing the chin and rotating, so I'm actually getting a 360 degree here of contraction. I got the deep neck flexion, the extension, and I'm working the freaking lateral sides of the neck as I'm turning my head here in the position. Very, very good pump on this one. Okay, we're keeping tension on those muscles the entire time. Again, just 20 reps is good enough, at least for what I'm doing here. This is all just to, increase mobility, get a nice blood flow, get a nice pump before I move on to the more difficult exercises. And I'm going to do the same thing from the other side, except this time instead of doing the kind of no, kind of turning of the head, like you're saying no, I'm going ear to shoulder. My range of motion is not fantastic on this one. I got to work on it a little bit more. I'm pretty tight in this area, but again, I'm keeping that isometric contraction the entire time in the front of the neck. And similar to that previous exercise, you're keeping tension on the muscles the entire way through. 20 reps, that's 10 each side. Stretch a tiny bit here for a bit. And getting right back into it. This time, doing that no kind of movement, rotating left to right. Now, I could also do extension, turn around and do extension and do the ear to shoulder, but I forgot to do that exercise this time around. It's not really a big deal. Again, this is all kind of just a warm-up for me, but you can do that as well. Okay, so if you want one more exercise, go ahead and add that in. Here, I'm just going to kind of pause for a bit, take a little rest, make a funny face, stretch the front of the neck a little bit because it was just contracted for a long time. Kind of turn my head left and right. And I like to even, with my eyes, kind of look where I'm moving. Okay, you'll feel that stretch even more if you're looking the direction that you're leaning. You might even feel it in your facial muscles. Okay, you might not even realize how tight your facial muscles are until you do something like this. Believe me, you'll feel it. Now again, if you're a beginner, if you even got this far, you might want to just stop here to stretch. I'm going to do one more stretch before I move on, just to kind of take a little break here and release a little bit of tension before I get into that more intense exercise. This time, stretching the extensors and kind of turning my head a little bit, shaking it out a little bit. Same kind of thing as before. Nod my head up and down. Yes, no. Good enough. Okay, from here we're going to move on to the more intense exercise. If you're a beginner, maybe don't do this one. Okay, but if all those exercises felt fine and you're not too fatigued, go ahead and try this. Okay, you might want to start heels close to your butt. All right, if that's too easy, again, get those shoulders away from your ears, get those feet further away from your butt, and bridge up. Okay, I'm in a neutral spine position here. Neck is nice and straight, and I'm pressing into this as hard as I can for about 10 seconds. Okay, that's an overcoming isometric exercise. Here's the second set. It'll take about maybe a minute between sets here. 5 sets of 10 seconds is plenty. If you're trying hard again, get those shoulders away from the ears. Get those feet away from the hips to make it a little harder. Bridge up, get that deep neck flexion. As you can see there, I'm trying to show you guys. And then just bridge up and freaking press your neck as hard as you can. Okay, isometric tension here. This is going to build a good amount of strength in that nice neutral position, which is important. Very, very important for posture. All right, I'm not going to bore you all with the other 3 sets I did, but I do a little stretch after this. And here it is, very simple. Looking down, and then just rotating from shoulder to shoulder, looking up, taking my time, looking where I'm going. Again, if you're tracking where you're going with your eyes, it'll get even deeper into that stretch. And take your time on this one. Try to feel it out. Work out all those little kinks in your neck. I only do this once each side. If you want to, you can do it more. Okay? But once is good enough for me. Especially if I'm going real nice and easy like this. It's gonna feel real, real good after all that work. That's about it, guys. It's about a 12-minute workout in total. And yeah, give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Peace.